ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so last week we were looking at the qualities that we need to imbibe if we want to be jnanis. If we want to, in the true sense of the word, seek knowledge. And this applies even in our everyday life. Okay, whatever knowledge we're trying to seek, these are the qualities that one definitely needs to have, especially on our spiritual journey. Okay, so we did the 8th verse. We're doing 13th chapter, 8th verse. So last week we saw amanitvam. Mujhe maan nahi chahiye. I'm not running after fame and prestige. Right? Amanitvam, adambhitvam. I will be free from pride. Okay? I will not be a hypocrite. I will not show the world something that I am not. Okay, adambhitvam. Ahimsa. I will practice non-violence in all situations. Kshanti. I will be tolerant. I will forgive people. I will not seek revenge. Arjavam. I will try and lead a very simple life. Okay, simplicity is going to be my motto. I'm not going to be diplomatic and crooked and indulge in gossip, none of that. Arjavam. Then we did Acharya Upasanam. I'm going to find a guru who's going to help me progress on this path, and I'm going to worship my guru. I'm going to learn as much as I can from that guru. Then we saw Shocham. At all times I'm going to maintain cleanliness, internally and externally. Okay, externally by bathing, keeping my surroundings clean. Internally by study of scriptures and by chanting of mantra. Then we said sthiryam. Right, I'm going to be very sthir. Whatever commitment I have taken, I'm going to make sure that in a very determined way I'm going to live up to my commitments. Okay, sthiryam. And atma vinigraha. My atma is going to be under my control. I'm not going to get carried away by the various distractions that life offers. Right? And to do all of this, I need to do a lot of Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay, a lot of listening and a lot of speaking. Okay? Alright, so now today we will start with the 9th verse. Chapter 13, verse number 9. Please repeat after me. Indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. Okay, very nice. Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Indriyon ka artha. Indriya are my senses, right? My senses always need a sense object, right? Because it is from the sense object that I derive satisfaction. But here it says, take vairagya from these sense objects. Give up these sense objects which keep pulling my senses in all kinds of directions, right? My senses are very, very strong and they're always looking for gratification. They're looking for pleasure. So I should be able to say no every time my sense pulls me in a different direction. So indriyon ka arth jo hai, I should be able to control them, right? We often find that our senses drive us nuts, right? So with a lot of focus and determination, with a lot of abhyas, we should be able to slowly and steadily try to control our senses, right? Obviously in modern day life though, we have the highest number of distractions. Even if you're trying to sit down and work, right? The phone will buzz, there'll be something on Instagram, there'll be something on WhatsApp, there'll be something on email. We ourselves find we're sitting in one place and we're still trying to talk with 15 people at the same time. And that does not let us function at our optimum level, right? How many of us have the courage to put our phone in Zen mode and then work, right? Or our children for that matter. Put your phone away for 2 hours and then do whatever it is that you're doing. It is extremely important to practice indriyartheshu vairagyam, because only then will our indriyas be pushed in the right direction. Okay? So the most difficult indriya to control is the tongue. The tongue does two things. The tongue tastes and the tongue talks, right? So taste, and that is why we eat all kinds of things, because our tongue is never satiated. Make a commitment to eat prasad. Whatever we eat, we will offer. It slowly gets us to have more control over our tongue. And we talk, we respond, right? We get angry, we snap at people. Our tongue is very, very sharp. Get it to become a little moderate by chanting, chanting, chanting. Okay? So if we want to control all our senses, we need to start with the tongue. We need to eat Krishna Prasad and we need to chant. Our tongue largely determines our spiritual progress. Okay? So we need to train our tongue to do a lot of Nam Jap. Speak about Krishna. Share your spiritual journey with everybody. Right? Shastras actually give a very beautiful example of this famous king called Ambarish Maharaj. Right? Ambarish Maharaj, obviously he's a Maharaj. He was the richest king, the largest empire. And yet he was able to control his senses. Because while he did everything that the kingdom wanted him to do, while he executed all his kingly duties, he controlled his senses. Okay? And they see the way he controlled his senses was, his mind was always fixed on the lotus feet of God. His words, when he was not talking business, his words were used in describing Golok Vrindavan. He used his hands every morning to clean the temple of the Lord. He used his ears by sitting with gurus and listening to Leelas of the Lord. Right? His eyes every morning woke up and took darshan of the Lord. He engaged his entire body by hugging other devotees. Right? He engaged his nose by smelling the tulsi that was offered at the Lord's feet. His tongue in tasting prasad that was offered to God. His legs in going on yatras. His head in doing Dandvat Pranam to the Lord. and all his desires in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. Right? And when you are like that, then you become a ati priya devotee of the Lord, a very, very dear devotee of the Lord. So much so that we'll all remember when Durvasa Muni, right? We all know that story. Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Amrish Maharaj, unnecessarily became angry. Out of his pride, Durvasa Muni, remember he was a Muni, but he had pride. He couldn't check his anger. On the other hand, a very powerful Kshatriya, not a yogi, a bhakta, a devotee engaged in the service of the Lord, he could silently tolerate all the injustices that Durvasa Muni was wetting out. So much so, the Lord came to protect Amrish Maharaj from who we call Muni Durvasa. Right? So we can be in whatever field we are in our regular lives. We could be Brahmins or Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Shudras. We could be doing all our regular commitments. Right? Whatever the world demands, we could be doing all our work. But we could control our senses by constantly keeping them dovetailed at the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay? Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Next, anahankara. Absence of ahankar. Ahankar is false ego. Right? In the 12th chapter also we did nirahankar. Same thing. Nirahankar, be without ego. Ego is the conscious awareness of I, me and mine. Aham mameti. I and mine. Right? Because I'm at the bodily level, I'm constantly thinking, I am this body. So everything around me belongs to me. Right? Always keep in mind the line from the Bible. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Okay? Keep in mind that if we want to invite God in our hearts, then we have to remove ahankar from our hearts. I'll tell you this beautiful line by Kabir. Kabir ji says, जब मैं था, okay, listen carefully, जब मैं था, तब हरि न था. Okay, जब मैं था, तब हरि न था, अब हरि है, मैं नहीं. When I existed, God was not there. Now God exists and I don't exist. जब मैं था, तब हरि न था, अब हरि है, मैं नहीं. प्रेम गली अति संकरी. Prem Gali, the path of divine love. Ati Sankari, it is very, very narrow. Yame dve na samai. The path of love is so narrow that it cannot accommodate two people. It can't accommodate me and God separately. I have to become one with God, as in I have to become so devoted to God that I don't see my existence as separate from God. I have to understand that my existence is to be in service of God. Beautiful, right? So Bhakti Yoga gives us the simple solution to get rid of ahankar. It says add das in front of aham. Right? Right now we are at aham, I am. Add das, servant. Dasoham, I am the servant of God. Right? Dasanu, 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 das. So I consciousness becomes God consciousness. And that will help us elevate in all fields. Right? Constantly knowing that I have somebody superior who's watching over all my actions. It will help me accomplish everything that I want to accomplish in life. Okay? Next we'll take the two lines together. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. What is janma? Birth. What is mrityu? Death. Jara?
Illness.
Jara is old age.
Okay. Illness coming with old age.
Vyadhi is disease. Okay. So jara is janma. Okay, we've all taken birth at a particular place, particular time, particular family based on our past karma. right? We've had no control. We had control. Whatever we did in our past life has given us our present placement. That is Janma. Death, Mrityu, we all know is certain, but none of us know when, where, how. Right? The time, the place, the reason, the circumstance, the situation, none of us know. Right? However comfortable I am, I will meet death. Right? Krishna in the 10th chapter said what? Mrityu sarvaharas chaham. Right? I am that Mrityu which takes away everything from you. Whatever you create will be taken away. Death is certain. Now, Jara, old age. Right? Again, something that we can't avoid. All of us, however rich, however healthy, how much ever we exercise, we eat good food, we do all of that. But the body will age. Of course, if you look after it well, you will have less trouble with it. You don't look after it, you will suffer it. Right? But you can't avoid old age. As you get older, you miss your younger body. I'm sure all of us are already missing our younger bodies. Right? And last, Vyadhi. Dis-ease. A situation which is not easy. An uncomfortable situation. Right? None of us wants to be deceased. None of us wants to become very old. But there is no avoiding these situations. So Krishna is telling us, please notice all these four aspects. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. All of them have Dukkha ka dosh. Dukkhanu, what's it? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha doshanu darshanam. Please see, darshan karo कि इन सब में दोष है. They all bring miseries. Right? The Bhagavad tells us that when we are in the womb of the mother, right, we're going through so much pain, there's so much acid, we're so uncomfortable, so tightly in that uterus, right? We're packed, our feet are, crawled up to our face, and we're in that very uncomfortable situation, and we're praying to God. कि बस इस बार है ना माफ कर दो. I promise you कि I'll come out and I will not get engaged in this entire, worldly situation, and I will be committed to you. But of course, so obviously birth is not an easy process, right? All we mothers have given birth. We know what a tough phase of life that is. But as soon as the baby comes out, gets in touch with this material world, matra sparshas tu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha daha. As soon as we get in touch with this material world, what happens? We start identifying with this material world. Right? So birth itself gets us to identify with this material world. And none of us are very smart. Right from the beginning, we don't realize कि इतना trouble है जिंदगी जीने में. We are never told कि life is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Okay? But remember the Buddha, young Prince Siddhartha, he saw one sick person and he thought, there's sickness in the world, which means one day I will also fall sick. He saw one old person and he thought, not nice. Looks like even I would have to get old one day. He saw one dead body, right? And he said, looks like anybody who's born is definitely going to die. I will have to die one day. And he was so intelligent that one experience made him realize facts of life. And he was able to renounce worldly existence. He said, nothing doing. I have this life. I don't know when it's ending. I need to sit down and meditate. I need to seek out the absolute truth. Unfortunately for us, we see death around us all the time. And yet we think death is not going to touch me. Right? We're not as intelligent as Siddhartha. But since we've taken to this study, now is a good time for us to start contemplating on these facts of life and start understanding how unattractive this cycle is. Alright? And if we can get out, we must exit after this lifetime. We should all work hard to make this our last lifetime. Okay? Fulfill all our duties in the best possible manner. Finish all our karmas, seek forgiveness, and forgive anybody who has knowingly or unknowingly hurt us. Because we don't want to be trapped in this cycle one more time. Are we good so far? Okay. Now we go to the 10th verse. Asaktir anabhishvangah. Asaktir anabhishvangah. Putradara gruhadishu. Nityam cha samachittatvam. Ishtanishtopapatishu. Okay. Asaktir. Sakti means attachment. Right? The feeling that whatever is there in this world is mine. It is for my enjoyment. Right? Sakti is attachment. Asakti. I don't want to have attachment. Asakti is too much attachment. Okay, please note the difference. Sakti is attachment. Asakti is too much attachment. Asakti is not having attachment. Okay, so here what is being recommended is asaktir. Don't get too attached. Don't get too attached to possessions, to people. Always keep in mind that these people and these things have entered my life for a short period of time. They are not owned by me. My karma has got them in my life. I will not become too attached. I will do my duty. I will do my due diligence. Okay? But I will not get too attached. Asakti is very, very important if you want to go ahead on the Jnana Marg. Okay? And then Anabhishvangaha. Anabhishvangaha means I don't want association of worldly people. Right? I don't want to become absorbed in the happiness and misery of other people. And who are these other people? Read the next line. Putra, Dara, Gruha, Adishu. We're all very, very attached to our putra, our kids. Right? Dara, spouse. Gruha, house. Adishu, others. Our relatives, our properties, our mutual funds, our stock, our money, our jewelry, our vehicles, whatever. Right? And because we are very, very attached to all of them, they bind us. And this obstructs a jnani's progress. Please remember, here we are talking about a jnani. A jnani is somebody who wants to sit down and very seriously study scriptures. This is not if you are on the path of bhakti. On the path of bhakti, you normally take your putra, dara, gruha, adishu with you in bhakti. Right? You're always trying to and hoping to get all of them to join you on your journey. Right? You're not looking at you alone walking this journey. But a jnani normally has to walk this path alone. Right? And for him, it is very, very important to understand that he cannot get stuck in the happiness and distress of putra, dara, gruha, adishu. Right? He does not want to get bound by them. Therefore, jnanis are very asakta. Right? No attachments. We are out to seek Satchit Ananda. Right? We want to experience that immortal bliss. Right? So, what a jnani needs to do is be very wise when he's interacting with his children, his spouse or his house. Right? He has to be very, very careful not to get entangled at all. And please remember, to a large extent, this is for us too. Right? We can't get too entangled. Don't get me wrong. We must do our duty with a lot of love and care and affection and warmth. But we shouldn't get too entangled, too attached. Excessive fondness, excessive interference is not good for us. Right? Because what happens when there's excessive attachment? We also open ourselves to excessive hurt, excessive disappointment. Right? Today my husband said this, I'm sad. Today my child said this, I'm unhappy. So what happens? I don't want to do my sadhana. I feel miserable. People can't be mean to me, and all of this affects my spiritual sadhana. I need to overcome anxieties. I need to overcome fear. I need to overcome this excess happiness and excess dukkha. Because otherwise I will fall off the path. And that is why Krishna says, Asaktir anabhishvangaha putradara gruhadishu. Please become free from the entanglement of children, wife, home and relatives. Help everybody walk the path. But if they don't stop your journey. Please walk that path ahead. Right? This is one place where we have direct instructions. अगर आपके साथ सब चले, very very good. ना साथ चले, तो you don't stop. Please go ahead. And then Krishna says, Nityam sa samachittatvam ishta nishtopapattishu. Same as we did sama dukkha sukha. Dukkha is unfavorable conditions, sukh is favorable conditions. Krishna said, be sama in both, equipoised. Here he is saying, Nityam, always. Be sama chittatvam. Let your chitta, your consciousness be sama. Equipoised, ishta, anishta. Whether you get what you like or you get what you don't like. If life gives you something desirable or life gives you something undesirable, please be sama chittatvam. If we get something that is desirable, right? Keep in mind, God has been very, very merciful. Right? So samachittatvam. And if we get something that is not desirable, keep in mind, my own past karmas, usi ko kha rahi hu. Right? So samachittatvam. Miseries are essential for our purification. So constantly stay aware that this too shall pass. That will help us not be too elated in favorable situations and lament a lot in unfavorable situations. Right? This too shall pass. The issue is not ishta or anishta. It is how we respond to these. If we constantly keep in mind that effort is in my hand, the result is not in my hand. Right? Whatever results come are the will of God. So I will accept them sama chittatvam, with equanimity. Then I'll be able to progress on the path of bhakti. Path of Jnana Yoga. Okay? Clear so far? Should we go to the next verse? Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam aratir janasausadi. Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. Constant and exclusive devotion to me. Cha anya yogena. You cannot desire anybody else except me. Connect to me in such a way that you don't want to connect with anyone else. Avyabhicharini. I am very amused by the word that Krishna has used over here. Avyabhicharini means loyalty. No. Yeah. It means loyalty. Vyabhicharini means somebody who is not loyal. Okay? A lady who is not loyal to her husband is called Vyabhicharini. She has a relationship with someone else. And here Krishna is saying that your bhakti has to be avyabhicharini. Means your bhakti has to be directed to me and me alone. I am your Pati Parmeshwar. Right? I am the husband of all devotees. You are a part and parcel of me, so you will worship me and me alone. Be loyal. Right? So our goal is to dedicate ourselves to the lotus feet of Krishna. We should constantly be connected to Him. Think of Him. Very, very clearly remember Him at all times. Even when we are doing Jnana Yoga. Remember, we would have thought that this is a part of Bhakti Yoga. But here we're clearly being told that even if we want to attain Jnana, we still need to have exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, we're going to get distracted. Without Ananya Bhakti, without exclusive devotion, we cannot be successful whether we're doing Karma Yoga or Dhyana Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Right? Connection with Krishna, Bhakti to Krishna is very, very essential. 9th chapter, Man Mana Bhav Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Right? So Prahlad Maharaj tells us 9 different ways in which we can actually do bhakti. All of us, can pick one that works best for us, or a few, or all of them. Right? Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Good hearing. Right? Now from Shastra, let us try and see good examples of Shravanam. Okay, who do you know was a fantastic listener? Who do you think attained salvation by listening very well? Think, we've all read so many Shastras, so many stories we've heard. Who actually listened very well and got moksha? Anybody? We've heard of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavat was spoken because Parikshit Maharaj was going to die in 7 days. And he said, "Ab 7 din bache hai, what should I do?" So they said, sit down and listen to Bhagavat Katha. 7 days. So till then he was a very, very successful king. He knew 7 days to live. He dropped everything. 7 days, 7 nights continuously without taking a break for food, sleep, nothing. He sat down and he listened to Bhagavat Katha. Right? So simply by listening, he attained salvation. Right? So for us, what it means is Shravanam Karo. Keep listening. Bhagwan ka naam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. These days we have such beautiful podcasts. Right? Such amazing podcasts, such amazing, YouTube videos. They are fantastic. So listen, there are a ton of speakers out there. Somebody is talking on Bhagavad Gita, somebody on Bhagavad, somebody on Ramayana, somebody on Mahabharata, somebody on different Upanishads, now about the Kumbh Mela. Such amazing talk shows happening out there, right? When you're working, when you're doing something that does not require your ears, put something on. Be a good listener. It changes your life's perspective. Okay? Kirtanam. So one, Prahlad Maharaj said, try and be the best listener possible. Listen as much as you can because it alters your heart. Second, he said, try and do kirtan. Kirtan means chant, right? Talk, glorify the Lord. Bhagwan ka jab glorification karte hain, it is called kirtan. So while Parikshit Maharaj did Shravanam, there was obviously somebody who was talking. Who's that somebody? Shukdev Goswami Maharaj, right? Son of Vyasdev. So Shukdev Goswami was excellent at kirtan. So like I'm saying, these days so many people doing amazing kirtan, right? Get to Spotify, get to any of these channels, you will find amazing things that you can listen to. Listen to people who are glorifying the Lord, right? So Shukdev Goswami glorified the Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam and he attained salvation. So Kirtanam. Third is Vishnu Smaranam. Constantly smaran karo. Constantly think of the Lord. Right? One of the best examples, Prahlad Maharaj. Right? His father Hiranyakashipu, kitna atrocities he did. Itte chote se Prahlad Maharaj, and his father, tried to throw him off a mountain, tried to get elephants to walk over him, tried to get him burnt with his sister Holika. Matlab kya nahi kiya. Right? But Prahlad Maharaj, constant Vishnu Smaranam. Complete faith. Complete confidence that the Lord will protect me. That faith of his, that constant smaran of his, forced the Lord to come as Narsimha avatar, a special avatar for a special devotee. Right? So many we see in Shastra. Sita, when she was in Lanka, she was there for over a year, right? But constant smaran of Ramji. So any bhakta who's constantly thinking of the Lord will attain the Lord. Right? God has very clearly told us, when we're leaving this body, whatever we're thinking of, that is the destination that we will attain. So if we practice remembering His feet all the time, then obviously when we die, that is what we're going to remember. And so that is where we're going to go. Right? So Vishnu Smaranam. Next, he says, Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam means always engaged in service. Service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? Lakshmi Devi, if you see her, so beautiful. She's always at the feet of the Lord, pressing them. Right? So Lakshmi Devi, the whole world wants Lakshmi Devi. And what is Lakshmi Mata doing? she is doing Pada Sevanam of that Supreme Lord. Right? Another example is Bharat Maharaj. Ramji ke jo bhai the, when Ramji went away to Vanvas, the mother Bichari did all of this because she wanted Bharat to be Raja. But what did Bharat do? He kept Ramji ke Paduka on the throne and he ruled Ayodhya as a servant of Ram. Hai na? So, Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam gives us ultimate moksha. Then there is Archanam. Some of us are very, very good at doing puja path, offering worship. And I have these beautiful friends, right? Such nice puja they do, such nice aarti. They offer flowers so beautifully. They decorate the whole altar. They dress the deity so nicely. Shodo Shopachara. There are 16 different kinds of paraphernalia that are used in worshipping the Lord. Okay? Attar lagayenge, fan karenge, right? So many things that people do when they're offering worship to Lord. So, it is believed that Shabri listened to everything that her guru said, and that is how she would do Ramji ki puja every day, waiting for him. For years she did that till Ramji, had to go and eat her bear. Right? So Shabri is somebody who did exclusive worship. Prithu Maharaj is also said to be an example for excellent archanam. Right? He offered all kinds of luxuries and worshipped the Lord. Then Vandanam. Some people are very, very good at offering prayers. Vandanam. Offering obeisances, offering prayers to the Lord and His devotees with love and respect. So many beautiful prayers are there. Kunti Maharani prayers. Must read. Kunti Maharani prayers. All of us must most definitely make an effort to study. Then there are Dhruv Maharaj's prayers. The Bhagavatam is full of prayers. Bhishma Pitama prayers, Gajendra Moksha prayers, Rudra prayers, Prahlad Maharaj ke prayers. Such amazing prayers, such heartfelt prayers of several devotees are in the Bhagavatam. Right? For many of us, we stand in front of God and we don't know what to say to Him. I kind of find like I'm blank. I don't know what to tell Him. So that time it's nice to learn some prayers. Right? Namaskar karke, we should recite some of these prayers. Alright? Okay. Next one, Dasyam. Dasya, Jivera Swarupa hai, Krishnera Nitya Das. Our Jivera, our original Swarup, our original constitutional position is to be Krishnera Nitya Das, is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Who do we know as one of the best examples for being Das? Come on, we spoke about Ramji, Sita, Bharat. Who was the best example of a Das?
Lakshman.
Very good. Very good. Both. Hanumanji and Lakshman. Both of them absolutely beautiful examples of being in service without questioning. Okay? Absolute classic examples of Das. I will serve my master no matter what. So our relationship with God can be that of Das. The other one is Sakhyam. Right? Being friendly with God. Establishing a very friendly relationship. Correct. Arjun. Right? Arjun, beautiful. He was in Sakhya Bhav with God. Who's another very beautiful friend of the Lord? Whenever we talk of Krishna, we talk of Krishna's friend. Who's Krishna's friend? Sudama. Yes. है ना? So Sudama, such a beautiful example. जाते हैं कृष्ण से कि अच्छा ये मांगना है, पत्नी ने ये बोला है, वो बोला है. But when he goes to God, he's so drowned in friendship, so drowned in that love for God that he couldn't ask Him for anything. All he wanted was to experience that friendship, experience that love. And Krishna बिल्कुल जताया नहीं कि हाँ ठीक है मुझे पता है तुम क्यों आए हो, I will give you what you want. Absolutely no. Hugs him, eats his little poha, loving exchanges, and sends him back. But when Sudama goes home, he sees कि भगवान ने क्या क्या दे दिया है. Without asking, God has fulfilled all my desires. Not even his own desires, his family's desires. Right? So Sakhyam. And finally, he says we can connect with God through Atma Nivedanam, offering everything that we have, our man, our buddhi, our ahankar, everything, whatever we possess, to the Lord. Sarvasya, offering ourselves to the Lord. And who's that great Maharaj who offered everything to the Lord? Bhagwan Ji came in the form of that chota sa batu, Vaman avatar. Come on guys, Vaman avatar किसके साथ थे?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj, है ना? Bali Maharaj. When little Vaman went, what happened? He said, I want three steps of land in charity, है ना? एक से पूरा top planets, एक से पूरा नीचे वाला planet. And then finally what happened? Third one, Bhagwan says, where shall I put it? And he bows down and he says, मेरे सर पे डालो आप. Right? So, Atma Nivedan, complete surrender, complete devotion. Yes, Reshma, you had a question?
Sorry, after Sakhya, it was Atma Nivedan.
Yes, Atma Nivedan.
Okay, I missed that word.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Atma Nivedana. Okay? So, Bali Maharaj, complete surrender. And of course, we just spoke of Amrish Maharaj. Right? He followed all 9 processes. So, everybody remember 9 different processes of bhakti. We can do 1 or 2 or as many as possible. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay? We should try to do whatever we can, whatever our inclination is. The very fact that we've stayed on in this study group itself shows that we are pretty good with our Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay? And we should not let go of that. And of course, a very easy way for us to constantly recite something that the Lord loves is the Chaturshloki Gita. I will again and again tell you to learn the Chaturshloki Gita by heart. Chapter 10 verses 8 to 11. I would urge all of you to make a sincere effort to recite these 4 verses every single day. Right? Beautiful, simple verses. They give us the summary of the Gita. Right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna tells us, I am the origin of everything. Everything comes from me. Iti matva, knowing this, do my bhajan. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Understanding this, when we do Krishna ka bhajan, then we will be able to get a lot of bhav, a lot of love and devotion for God. And then what will happen? We will always have Him in our chitta. Mat chitta, mat gata prana, bodhayanta parasparam. Because He's constantly on my mind, He's constantly in my consciousness. My entire life starts revolving around Him. And so, whoever comes, I talk to them about Him. And when I meet devotees, kathayantascha mam nityam. We discuss kathas of God and tushyanti cha ravanti cha. It keeps us always tushya, happy. Right? So miseries don't touch us. Right? We're always ecstatic when we're discussing our experiences with God. Okay? Tesham, people who do that. Satata yuktanam, people who are constantly attached to me. Bhajatam priti purvakam, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. God says all you have to do is keep in mind that I am the source of everything. Right? Like that, if you interact with people and if you express your love for me, then I will give you buddhi. I will give you intelligence. And using that intelligence, you will be able to come back to me. Believe me, as we start walking the spiritual path, when we see people so entangled in their lives, we think, isko akal nahi hai kya? Isko nahi pata kya ki he's going to drop all of this one day. When he has to go, he will not be able to take any of this with him. Why? Because we have now got that buddhi. Right? We have realized कि नहीं ले जा पाएंगे भाई ये सब, तो जो ले पाएंगे, ले जा पाएंगे, let's work towards that. Right? So that is the kind of buddhi that we develop. We start realizing, I am not this body, I am Atma. Let me work towards whatever is going to help my Atma progress on the path. Right? And finally, God says, Tesham evanukampartham. I will give you special anukampa, special mercy. The reason I say recite these 4 verses is in 2 minutes, when you start your day, first 2 minutes, you will know that I have God's special mercy on me. Whatever is happening in the outside world, God has very clearly said, Samoham sarvabhuteshu. I am equal to everybody. I don't favor anybody. I don't despise anybody. But he immediately says, anybody who's in love with me, I obviously love them right back. For them, I will always have special mercy. So in that Chatur Shloki, in that last shlok, God very clearly says, Anukampa Artham, because I have special mercy for you. Right? I will sit in your heart and I will light Jnana ka Deepak and I will ensure that all ignorance goes away. Right? So please, just because I am telling you, do this. Do this for 15 days. Do this for a month and then you will never want to stop. Okay? Yes, Rishma?
Same 8 to 12 verses is what the 4 verses you're talking about.
Yes. Chapter 10, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. Just these 4 verses. Okay? The 11th verse tells us very clearly that we have special mercy of the Lord on us. Yes, Subbalakshmi?
I know all the 4 verses by heart.
Very good. You are the most studious, the best one. So you have God's Anukampa on you. I'm very sure of that. You have His special mercy. Right? So nice. So Krishna has said what? Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam. I'm doing the second part of the verse. Vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana sausadi. So again, applies to a jnani. For a jnani, God is saying, Vivikta desha sevitvam. Please go live in a quiet, solitary, lonely place. If you want proper jnana, then please go live alone somewhere in a secluded place. Ekant mein, in solitude, so that you can engage your mind without any distractions. So that your mind can focus on God and study of scriptures. In our case, please don't leave your homes, don't go anywhere. All we need to do is create one quiet space for ourselves in our homes. That one place where we can sit and read and chant and do whatever we want to do very, very peacefully. That place where we don't carry the material world with us. Right? We all need to have one special chair or one special spot in our homes where we know ki waha when I go, my phone is not allowed. Right? Nothing else is allowed. This material world ka connection main tod ke I go into that solitary place. Right? It does not mean that I have to run away from family. It means I have to find my own little spot. Aratir jana sausadi. When I'm in that spot, I will not get involved with normal jana, with worldly people. When I'm in that place, when I'm connected with my Guru Sadhu Shastra, I will not hang out with people of the world. In that spot, I will not discuss politics. I will not talk current affairs. I will not talk about my kids and your kids and work and nothing. That spot may I avoid mundane conversations. I avoid mundane society. And this we owe ourselves. If we want to study, we need to have that little spot for ourselves. Okay? Then, so we still have time. We'll do the last verse. It's pretty simple. So let's do that. Verse number 12. Please repeat after me. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etaj jnanam iti proktam adjnanam yad atonyatha. Okay, the concluding verses 8 to 12 is where Krishna is telling us what are the qualities that a jnani needs. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, the 12th half. Okay, we're taking the first half. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Nitya, constantly. What should I be engaged in? In adhyatma jnana, in spiritual knowledge. engage yourself in the study, in the search, in the seeking of Adhyatma Gyan. Krishna is clearly telling us, theoretically knowing is not enough. Theoretically, I know anger is a bad thing. Yet, if I'm getting angry often, then there's a problem. So I have to learn to practically implement spiritual knowledge in my life. And this does not happen by simply listening to philosophical truths. That is the starting point. Right? Listening is the starting point. But application is what is required. So I have to reflect, I have to contemplate on everything that I've listened to, and I have to start making the necessary changes in my life. So introspection, where am I going wrong? How can I correct myself? So unless we study regularly, unless we practice regularly, all of this will just be theory. We will not change from within. Information has to lead to transformation. Okay? Learning all these, and that's why we actually spent a lot of time, 12th chapter also on the virtues, 13th chapter also on all the qualities, because we need to apply this in our lives. I want all of you, if you don't already have a spot in your house today, where you sit down and do your chanting or you're studying or you're listening to class, I want you to make that spot for yourself today. Right? Today, don't move it to tomorrow. Today, go walk around your house and figure out which is that one quiet place which I'm going to demarcate for myself. And I'm not going to let anybody else intrude my peace in that particular place. I love my children, I love my husband, I love my dog. But no, they are not allowed in that particular spot. That is mine. That is for my spiritual growth. And if I am spiritually very strong, believe me, I'll be able to take all those people that I love along with me. Right? So everything that we listen to, let's start working on it now. Okay? So Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Constantly be engaged in seeking spiritual knowledge. Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Tattva jo hai, what is the philosophical truth, is what we should be studying at all times. Tattva kya hai? Don't do things just because people are telling you to do things. Okay? Only when we study regularly do we understand tattva, do we understand spiritual reality. And only then can we intelligently apply this tattva in our lives. Intelligently we will be able to understand, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. Right? All the hajar changes that we need to bring about in ourselves, we will be able to do it only and only when we understand tattva. God is saying, don't become a fanatic. Right? Very, very important. Loudly He is telling us, don't become a fanatic. Please seek out the tattva. If I am telling you to not have pride, understand why you should not have pride. Right? Because pride keeps me focused on my material achievements. And then I will never be able to focus on my spiritual self. Right? Why does God say amanitvam? Don't run after fame. Don't run after prestige. Give other people man. Don't seek man for yourself. Sit down and contemplate on these truths. Darshanam means seeing. To start seeing these truths. Jnaan ka artha samjho. Tattva ko samjho is what Krishna is saying. Philosophical search is very, very important. Just because somebody says chant 16 rounds, we can't sit down and chant. Right? There are some very lucky people कि कोई बोलता है कि go chant and they can go and chant. Horrible minds like mine question everything. Right? But then you chant 1 round, you chant 2 rounds, and then you start seeing how special those 12 minutes of your day become. When you're chanting, 1 mal takes about 6 to 8 minutes. Right? 1 mal when you chant and you've decided कि okay, this time I'm not going to focus on anything else. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but you don't act on them. And you start realizing कि धीरे धीरे you don't want to open your eyes. You yourself say कि एक और माल, एक और. Because you start enjoying, right, this peace that you find within. because we are Satchit Ananda and we start experiencing that Ananda. So it's very, very important. Krishna is saying, Tattva ko samjho, Tattva ko experience karo. Right? Now, because I'm experiencing what bliss Krishna ka naam gives me, I tell everybody to do naam jap. I feel like he dances on my tongue when I take his name. And I feel that I want all of you to experience that. But unless you actually do it and do it repeatedly, you will not be able to experience it. Right? And dhire dhire you will find that if you want to win this war against Maya, then Adhyatma Gyan is what is going to help us. Adhyatma Gyan is going to be a very powerful weapon in helping us fight against Maya. And when I say Tattva, I mean simple things like, okay, why should I not eat meat? Why should I not eat meat is because for one meal, I'm willing to take away an entire life. That Atma had a particular business to finish, had to go through specific progression. But I cut its progression midway because I wanted to satisfy my tongue. Right? So I'm not being compassionate. And if I'm not compassionate, then growth becomes slower and slower for me. Right? Because I'm more cruel. But why no onion garlic? Onion garlic doesn't make me a cruel person, but it puts me in rajogun. Right? Puts me in the mode of passion. And mode of passion, agar upar hai, to mera satogun niche aayega. If I'm struggling to be satoguni, then I have to remove everything that makes me rajoguni. Currently in my life, because I realize that I'm a very, very rajoguni person. I'm a very passionate person. Ye karna hai, idhar jana hai, ye lana hai. You know, so many things. I want to reduce that. And therefore, I want to try and see, okay, give up onion garlic. Let me see if I'm more peaceful in my life. It's working for me. Right? Or when people say put tilak. It's so beautiful. It's a physical way of offering your body in service of the Lord. It's like when you wear a uniform and go to school. You're telling the world that I am a student of the Bishop's Co-ed School. Like that, when people wear tilak, they're announcing to the world that I am a servant of the Lord. Right? So all these things, right? There is a reason behind it. Right? And we need to understand those reasons. We need to understand that, why am I offering this body in service of the Lord? Because this body is very precious. This body is going to help me fulfill the purpose of my, of me taking birth, and I want to go back home. So I don't want to do anything blindly, but I want to understand Tattva. I want to understand and constantly remember that Paramatma is sitting inside of me. And he's constantly aware of my intentions, my motives. Right? I'm constantly aware कि राम जी तो आए और शबरी के झूठे बेर खाए, मेरा भी खाएंगे, है ना? I'm constantly aware कि that Pandurang, he came and he accepted fish from that fisherman, right? And wore them on his ears. तो मेरे साथ क्यों नहीं होगा ये? So when I'm in touch with the Lord, when I understand Tattva, then my devotion will be more solidified. It will strengthen my bhakti and my jnana will increase. So jnana and bhakti will go hand in hand. And finally, Krishna ends with Etaj jnanam iti proktam. Everything that I have said from verse 8 till here is jnana. All of these are the qualities that you need if you want jnana. All these qualities will support you to go ahead in your spiritual life. Ajnanam yad aton yatha. Everything else is ajnana. Opposite of everything that I've told you. So amanitvam will lead me to jnana, but man will lead me to ajnana. Adambhitvam will lead me to jnana. Dambha will lead me to ajnana. Ahimsa will lead me to jnana. Himsa will lead me to ajnana. Right? So if we want to properly understand kshetra and kshetrajna, right? The body, the soul and the super soul. If we want jnana and vijnana, then we need to first start developing these virtues, these habits, these attitudes. Okay? Thank you so much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Thank you all for joining.